Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome to the lab 4 in cybersecurity. The lab 4 topic is log analyzer in the Linux operating system. So this lab we are going to discuss using two important commands. One is grep and another one is awk. So in Linux operating system, the logs related to the operating system and applications we can find in the following directory slash var slash log. So for example, if you're in the slash home, okay, if you're in this location, you can move to the uh, location where you can find the system logs, application and system logs using this command cd var. Okay, so you can see so many logs you can find which are maintained by the Linux operating system. Some logs related to the operating system and some related to the application. Example, MySQL, Samba, Snort. Then you have Apache. These are applications. Okay, so interpreting the entries in the log is very important from the security perspective. So in that aspect, we are going to discuss this lab. So using two commands, one is grep grep and another one is awk. We are going to discuss the this lab, how to interpret the log files using grep and awk commands. Let us see the first one. First of all, let me give the basics of grep. Then we can discuss the commands which are given in the lab exercise. So let me open a new terminal. So pwd, I'm in this location. So I create a file, okay. Nano a.txt. So in that I give uh, some lines of text. So these are some of the text I enter in this a.txt. I save this using Control O, Enter, Control X. Now we can display this file using cat nano.txt. Sorry, a.txt. Okay, so it's displaying all the contents. Now let me go into this. So I just want to have in all the files four columns. Control O, control X. So now let me explain the grep actually. So I want to search the word rows in a.txt. So what happens? We have four lines in the a.txt. Using the grep command, we are searching the word rows. So only the lines which contain the word rows are returned as the output. Okay, so grep, by this example, you can understand the functionality of the grep. So grep, for example, let's say you can, let's say, if an I argument can be given same output, but just I says ignore the case, whether it's capital or lower case, ignore the case, and wherever the word rows is available, that line can be returned. So this is the function of the grep. And now I put a pipe, and then I just want to count how many I want to use the word count. So it says there are two lines and 8 words and 34 letters, including the spaces. So there are two lines, 8 words, you can count 8 words, and 34 characters, including the space. Okay, so if you put the argument -l, then it just returns there are two lines. Okay, so here just four lines available. But just imagine you are analyzing a file where there are thousands of lines, and you want to filter uh, the contents of the file based on a specific word, let's say a specific user. Okay, so then you can go for grep. Okay, similarly, there is one more command is there, that is called awk cat a.txt. Okay, then I use the pipe. When I use the pipe, the output doesn't come to the terminal, rather it goes to the buffer, and the next program would take that data from the buffer. So the next program, let me say, is going to be awk. Then brace print. Okay, so I'm going to say $1. So now I just want to print the name of the flowers. It is given in the first column. So you can see rose, jasmine, rose, lily. So nicely printed using the $1. So if you give $2, second column would be printed. If you give $3, the third column would be printed. So like and so on. Okay. So this is the function of the AWK. And also the AWK also can be used to search a specific pattern in the in a file, same like grep. Okay, now this basic information about the grep and the AWK is enough for us to discuss the lab questions. The first scenario is this: you have to search a file called auth.log, and in order to find any lines that contains the that has a reference to the month March. Okay, so let's go to this. um, so we want cat auth dot log file. So this is a log file. You have so many um, lines. Okay, so let me say hyphen L. So you have 85 lines. 85 lines. So I just want the lines specific to let me say um, for some example, let's say authentication failure. So I just want to know uh, how many authentication failed, like username, password, So let us check that. So how to this? What I do? Grab hyphen I. Then I say copy this. So now you can see port count hyphen L. Only 5 lines are returned instead of 85 lines. Only 5 lines. So from in these 5 lines, you can see the messages related to authentication failure. So you're checking the log file in order to know whether any authentication failure has taken place or not. So which user was involved in that? So which date that incident, what time it took place. So these kind of informations can be retrieved using this. So it's here, since it's installed in the virtual box, just 85 lines. Imagine if it's a big server, there would be so many lines, hundreds of lines. So when you want to know when the authentication has failed in the server, so then this is a way you retrieve, filter the information. So cat means just print the contents of the file. But when you use the pipe, what happens? The contents of the file is not printed on the terminal, rather it is sent to a buffer on the memory. And the grep program take that data which is sent by the cat from the buffer in the memory. It takes and it would search the entire file for the lines which contain authentication failure, and it returned that specific lines to the terminal. So only 5 lines that contain the words authentication failure return to the terminal. So this is what here. So cat authentication grep. Here they are searching March instead of authentication failure. They are searching March month. Okay. Even we can try that here. So you can give some month, April 0. So maybe like uh, AP or so 85 lines because this Mint was installed recently. So it has all the data related that are generated in the month of April. Okay, and let me check this. Whether is there any March? No. So this is how we analyze the log files. This is one of the way. Here you are using the grep command. I have explained very clearly. I is used to ignore the case. WC is to count how many lines are there. Understand? So hyphen L, if you put it, would return how many lines that contain these specific words what you search in the file, this file using the grep command. Let's move on to the next. This is also same example only. Cat authentication log graph I March, month of March. They are using one more um, pipe. Okay, let me do this stuff also. So April. Okay, then what I do, grab hyphen I. Okay, then authentication, authentication failure, then word count hyphen L. So the output from the cat goes as an input to this grep command, and the output from this grep command will go as an input into this grep command, and the output from this grep will go as an input into this grep command. So basically we are searching, filtering the lines that contain authentication failure, and also uh, you know the data that are applicable in the month of April. Okay, so this is the second example. Now already I have explained what is the AWK command here. So let's say this is a a.txt contains all this data information. So we are printing the AWK basically is used to filter the data in a specific pattern. Example, like print $1 means it would retrieve the first column in different lines, and it would return that to the terminal. Okay, and if you give $2, then it would retrieve the second column, and so on. And now you can see here this file actually doesn't exist. So AWK basically what it does, it returns the first column from this file. Whatever data that exists in this, let us assume in this file, there are multiple lines of data. So from each line, it would return the first column. Then what it does, it sort the data, okay, in a specific order, like ascending order from small to big. Then what it does, it would generate the unique data. It would it would just overcome the redundancy, repetition. So let me give a example. Mm, yeah, this is example. Uh, okay, so this example you can see there is a file dpkg.log already we have discussed in the lab 3. So dpkg basically helps us to know what packages are installed in the Linux system. Okay, so you it just returns what are the packages that are installed. Then we want to filter the data. Let's say we want just the first column. So awk, okay. Then brace print, okay, print, then dollar one, it returns the first column. uh, let's see, now it's just returning the first column. Then we use the pipe. We use the pipe in order to sort. Okay, so sort. There are two types of years. One is 21, and another one is sorry. Two dates are there: 21 4 2021, 22 4 2021. Okay, so it is sorted from in ascending order, small to big. Now we want some unique data because dates are repeated again, so we can use unique. Okay, so the data what is returned is now unique in nature, and if you want you can use the flag -c also. Okay, so now actually the output from the cat goes as input into the awk. So cat basically returns all the data from the dpkg.log. It has many lines of code, and each line has multiple columns. Now using the awk we filter the first column. We choose only the first column. We have many options. Okay, so if you put $2, then second column, $3, third column, $4, fourth column, and like that you can choose any columns. If you want you can choose multiple columns also, like $1, then like $2, like that you can choose multiple columns also. And then what you can do is sort. You can sort them. The output from the awk go as an input to the sort program, and the output from the sort goes as an input into the unique, and unique process the data, reduces remove the redundancy, and send the output to the terminal. So this is the output into the terminal. So the sort, unique, awk, then in the previous example, um, grep, all these are very useful commands available in the Linux operating system to analyze the log. And the logs are basically available uh, in this /var/log. Okay, so many logs are there. Depending on the necessity, we can explore each and every log files which are required for the specific for a specific requirement. And this is what I want to say about the log analyzing lab. So in this we have discussed about the grep, awk, and also slash var slash log folder, and some important log files like auth.log, then this dpkg.log files. So with this, I conclude this lab session. Thank you very much.